gods. Kings. Fire. And blood.
If you're really doing this, I want to help.
Good.
Good. I've been recruiting for the rebellion for a long time.
We destroyed our home. I fight the Empire now.
I'm still Jennifer Walters. She-Hulk is just a thing that happened to me.
You said you didn't like the name She-Hulk.
I don't! I do admit, though, there are parts of it that I enjoy. The amazing hair, no hangover, being able to walk home at night without being afraid.
You put on your green suit.
Put on my green suit?
Yeah, jolly green yourself. I don't know what you call it.
Hulking out.
Okay, good. Whatever.
This Organized Chaos podcast is brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to our Organized Chaos podcast. Thank you for joining us once again and making the best podcasting choice available in the universe. You've done incredibly well. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. We are definitely the best podcast ever, as says the wise old knight that defends the Holy Grail.
Mm-hmm.
We've waited 1,000 or so years for you to come to this podcast, so we can tell you that.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Joining me are Bobby and George. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Good.
We got some exciting stuff to talk about today. We'll be going over to the news, and part of the news will be Cincinnati Comic Expo, which George joined me for part of. Not a whole bit, but he did get he got a bit of the experience. We'll have some stories to tell. And then after that, we'll be going into the next 3 episodes of House of the Dragon. Yeah, episodes 4 through 6 of House of the Dragon. And then it will be Rogue One, because we're going to wait for 4 episodes to get into Andor. Which, if you're wondering, I like a lot so far. And then She-Hulk, episodes 4 through 6. I guess we're ready to get rolling.
Yeah.
So, the first news item. Donald Trump and the New York Attorney General. It seems like New York Attorney General isn't too fond of him.
Hasn't been for some time now.
yeah. It seems like they're putting together a whole bunch of charges against him. I really hope this type of thing pans out. There's been so much corruption in our system. It'd be nice if, someone in power actually got penalized for their corruption. And his was so goddamn overt and obvious. It's like, yeah, no shit, he's corrupt. I mean, he literally has official state guests stay in his hotels and pay him money to stay and do, business. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, that is just kind of shisty in, one of the worst ways.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like lots of the stuff that's going to get him is when he's underappreciating his property values and over-reporting it when it's advantageous.
I mean, not to mention the whole FBI raiding his property in Florida. That's
did that happen? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
Fake news.
Yeah.
Totally fake news. It's fake news, guys. It's fake news. Where's my covfefe?
Oh, God, I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
There's been so much more useless crap with him that I've had to just memorize.
Yeah, well, I will say this. Ever since he's been off Twitter, I feel like it's been more peaceful.
Per se.
Occasionally getting his random nonsense is kind of fun, but, I felt like when he was president and on Twitter, it was just every day, just some random fucking tweet. Just, oh my God, you are.
Yeah, it got exhausting after a while.
It gets frustrating when a random YouTuber, treats my Twitter with more responsibility than the President of the United States. That gets really frustrating.
Yeah, I actually had to stop myself from making a response tweet to Bobert today.
No, what'd she say today? I missed it.
What let me see if I find what she had said exactly. I think it was something about Americans supporting Iran and all that, and how absurd it was. And I wanted to reply how similar it would have been to, still sticking with a convicted sex offender.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and just maybe you should be more focused on controlling your husband and keeping his pants up at bowling alleys.
Well, I
stopped myself.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's a sordid backstory there.
I'm paraphrasing quite a bit with it too. So,
but it kind of drives me nuts because you get all these Republicans on there talking about, hey, how come nobody's gone after anybody who's been associated with Epstein? The FBI hasn't raided one person associated with Epstein. I always have to share that picture of Trump saying, I'm pretty sure they've raided at least one.
They've got at least one.
Yeah. I don't know where you guys are. There's like at least a couple dozen photos of them together, guys. The photoshoppers are working overtime if it's all fake. But yeah, I do want to see him get some justice, and there's definitely other ones I'd like to see justice, but he's, oh my god.
I can't find it exactly, but yeah.
Yeah. And I also can't wait for season 2 of the July 6th commission or January 6th commission.
Yeah, that's later this week, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's coming out. Yeah, should be a killer season 2. Season 1 was a banger.
Yeah, they have nothing but optimism for season 2.
Yeah. Oh dear. All right. Are we ready? Anything you want to add, Bobby, before we head into Cincinnati Comic Expo?
No. Tell me about it.
All right. So Cincinnati Comic Expo. I went last year. This year, I blacked out George and Bobby, so you can't see. No. Oh, technical director issues. I went in 2019. Obviously, I didn't go in 2020 because there wasn't a 2020 in so many ways. But went 2021 last year. And then this year we went again. This time I had a whole bunch of extra tickets. So George was able to join for part of the day. And George, I kind of want to hear what your first impressions are, because this is your first time going.
I thought it was cool. I didn't have a lot of time to check everything out because I had to unfortunately leave halfway through Saturday. But it was good. I really enjoyed the panels we went to. The first panel was a few special effects guys that worked on Star Wars. And then we saw William Shatner and then Christopher Walken. So
Lloyd. No.
Lloyd. God.
I mean, still cool.
Yeah, no, still a huge name. They're on the same level. It's not like, oh, yeah, Christopher Lloyd. Shit, I want Christopher Walken. I would be equally excited for either panel. I mean,
it's been a very long past week.
Oh God, dude, yes, I haven't had a day. I haven't had a pure day off for a while. But yeah,
Lloyd, yes,
I did think it was. Yeah, it was unfortunate you didn't get too much time on the floor. Because the floor is crazy too. Unfortunately, on Saturday, it's a bit too crazy. It's weird. All the stuff's happening on Saturday, which is why the floor is just a mess on Saturday. Holy crap. Sunday and Fridays are easier to get around, but you're also missing that. There's a different energy.
That was fun. Brian did the marketplace stuff while we did the panels, and he got some good stuff.
Yeah, so, Brian didn't get any panels in, and you didn't get any marketplace in, so you both got like half the experience.
Yeah. So we made it work.
Yeah,
it was really fun, and I would definitely go again next year.
Well, yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed that both you and Ashleen got some exchanges with William Shatner, going back and forth for a bit. Those were fun.
Yeah, that was fun. He carries on a good conversation, and for 91, like, he is still like very much with it. Like, he doesn't seem to have any like hearing issues or he's very comprehensive, and so yeah.
Well,
that was cool.
Well, most panels are set up like an interview thing, and his was they had like a little thing at the start, but then it was just him sitting in a chair talk to the audience for the rest of the panel, which was a nice way to handle it. Yeah,
that's cool.
And I kind of dug how he did it, because most people just ask one question and that's it. But he actually like does like a mini conversation with each person comes up, which I could see it sucking because like I'm certain he's going through less people. But it's kind of cool because you get a little mini conversation with William Shatner when you get up there.
And I kind of got brushed back to my seat because the guy was like, "Oh, we got to move the line," and I went back to my seat. But William Shatner was still talking. Then he kind of like he stopped for him, and he's like, "Well, where'd he go?" And he looked over and he saw me sitting there. And he's like, "Oh, there you are."
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
but yeah. It's I'm not sure, but I suspect this expo is getting bigger every year. I feel like 2021, I feel like it was maybe a little step down just because we're coming out of the pandemic. Yeah. But like I feel like the headliners this year were way bigger. I did end up missing the Richard Dreyfuss panel just because there's other stuff I wanted to do, and to my understanding, that went very poorly.
Just. Audience interaction or what?
Well, I'm not sure. These are rumors, and I haven't been able to find any video of it. So it's possible you didn't even allow video in it. So it's possible they won't have said that, and we won't have just walked down and done other things anyway.
Or it's being sniped down.
I'm not as confident about that. That'd be tougher to snipe down.
Maybe the convention itself is the one doing the sniping.
It seems tricky. I wouldn't think they would want to. Well, unless they're doing it specifically for that panel. But apparently he was very forward with the fact that he doesn't like doing panels, launched immediately into politics, and I guess he considers himself a compassionate conservative.
And I bet, the majority of the people in the audience were not wild about that.
Yeah, sci-fi people aren't usually quite in that camp.
Not usually.
I mean, I'm sure you get some, but yeah.
Yeah, horror was a mixed bag of nuts on there, but nobody really openly flaunting it.
Yeah.
Like, I think I might have counted one Trump sticker on a vehicle in a parking lot. Maybe, but I hardly saw any other political ones. They were mostly like, mocking horror ones. Like, I saw one that said Kruger Voorhees 2024.
Now, I know in the parking lot, we parked next to a vehicle with a Trump sticker on it, and I think they were there. I think we saw them come back out, and they had the Expo bags. So, it's not impossible.
No, it's not impossible
but
at all, yeah.
It's just not the majority.
Typically, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like you're walking into a Kid Rock concert.
Mm-hmm. And I was going over the footage we shot, George. I haven't really been able to go over Christopher Lloyd, which is the one I'm most concerned about. I got fantastic audio on William Shatner. I think that's going to work out really well.
Did you get the whole thing?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then the next day I was able to get really good recordings of Laurie Holden and Brandon Routh. So, yeah, we actually ended up talking to Brandon Routh for a little bit, so that was cool.
Okay.
Oh, yeah? Nice.
Yeah, good deal. Got a business card to him, always important. Gotta promote the channel somehow.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. Just be like, hey, I record your panel. If you want to check it out, it'll be out in the next coming week. Here's how you find it. He was like, oh, awesome. But yes, it's getting bigger, and I do enjoy it. It's a great energy that exhausts the shit out of you when you're there. But then, like, a week later, you're like, oh, that was fun. I want to go back. And
yeah.
But in the middle of it, you're like,
Well, it can be overwhelming because there's so much to see and so much to do. And you're like trying to figure out how you can get to everything that,
Yeah. So, I want to check out William Shatner. I want to check out Brandon Routh. I want to check out independent creators. Oh, God damn it. Where's time?
Did you do any autographs, Bob? Did you get to meet
I just did the Chris Claremont autographs, and then The reason I met Brandon Routh is because Anne wanted to do his autograph, so.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, yes.
Cool.
But, anything you want to add before we head on to House of the Dragon?
No, don't think so.
All right. So, episodes 4 through 6 of House of the Dragon. And upon watching these, I realized maybe I should have split these up 5 and 5, but hindsight's only 20/20. I know.
Yeah.
These were good ones, though. I'm really liking how this series is turning out so far.
Yeah, me too. I at first I was worried about how the time jumps I feel it would affect the flow of the story, but it really doesn't. It pushes it forward quite well.
Yeah, we'll have we'll have to see how it does. Obviously, the reason why I'm saying we should have split it up 5 and 5 is because episodes 5 through 6, I want to say, is about a 12-year time jump, and you have lots of actor changes.
I think it was
is it 10?
Year.
Oh, I was thinking, okay. It might be just 10 too.
Because I fell asleep early and yesterday, and I watched 6 this morning.
Yeah, I stayed up late and watched it, and I've had like no sleep since the weekend and everything. But yeah, I feel you. This week has been, or past week was crazy. Yeah, but yeah, that 12-year time or 10-year time, whatever. So like half the actors are different. And what I found kind of amazing was how
they recast like everybody.
Yeah, they recast a good half the cast. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm shocked the father was still alive.
I was shocked too. I was like, holy shit, he's still alive.
Like, we have a lot to bring up about episode 5 too, but like the one of the last shots of episode 5 is you just see him collapsing in the background, and like I was just like, that's it.
Yeah, and almost looking like death had warmed over.
Yeah, and then you see him in the next episode, and we don't know what death warmed over looks like because holy shit, he's looking really worse for wear.
Yeah, he looked way worse, but he was spry.
Yeah, no, it seemed like his mind was largely still there. It just not looking good.
I have a theory though. I think his wife is slow poisoning him.
Oh, you think it's that? I just thought it was an infection because it's acting like an infection. Although it is interesting because I would think like some sort of infection like that would have gotten him by now. So maybe you're right.
10 years.
Yeah.
10 years, she's slow poisoning him.
Yeah.
And I think the scene in the courtyard with the Godswood tree, with that little kind of hunchy looking crypt keeper looking guy. I can't remember his names. I'm still learning all the characters' names because like it's like a whole new batch of people I have to memorize. But
heck, even in the middle of Game of Thrones, it was tough to keep track of it. It's like, oh, I know that guy.
After a while, yeah. In Game of Thrones, it even got difficult. But how he put emphasis on this flower and how rare of a flower of a particular flower like this is to grow in these parts. And it's just kind of, that flower has something to do with it.
Yeah, that's
either why he's still alive or I just noticed that, and I noticed that with those past 2 episodes, or 4 and 5.
It might be a thing where her father started poisoning him early on, and she just continued the.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Definitely. I don't trust the Hightowers at all.
And that's the thing. Like in the beginning of the first episode, I was kind of on board with the Hightowers, but then.
Yeah.
Then things clearly went awry fairly quickly. I think the biggest indicator was when he essentially pimped his daughter off to the king.
Yeah, and that one was like you could have her, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, she's like 15. What the fuck are you doing? She's like,
I mean, I understand that shit was common in those times. Or
it still doesn't sit right with me, even though it's, I understand.
Alleged times.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the alleged times that the story would take place in. And if we're going to say that Game of Thrones is pretty much the War of the Roses, which it is. But, so a good 200 years before the War of the Roses, still a very, unfortunately, a common thing in those times. But yeah, it still don't sit right.
No,
at all.
Well, I mean, I remember during it was the second or third episode where he's choosing between Lena or Alicent. And it's like Allison's like 15 and Lena's like 11.
Or like
and it's like,
8.
well,
and it's like,
and it's like okay, well,
kid.
if you have to choose one, I guess you chose the right choice. But why don't you just say, hey guys, I'm cool being single for a bit longer. We no rush.
Yeah, no rush, guys.
Yeah, I'm
like,
cool.
No
I'm
rush.
Cool. Dude,
right.
my wife just died last episode. I know it's like 6 months ago, but it was the last episode for me. So, but one thing
they're doing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say one thing I'm really noticing with this is that like I felt like in Game of Thrones you had plenty of middle gray area characters, but you had more characters that were just flat out evil and more characters that were just flat out good. And here I feel like we're dealing with lots more gray.
Yeah, I feel that that's done on purpose. I feel that maybe the story or the showrunners are wanting to do that to us, so that way we can't immediately kind of go, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't immediately know who we dislike,
or you just don't immediately go like, fuck this guy. Like you know how I felt the first time Littlefinger walked in. He was really great at selling anything he wanted, and I liked that about the character. Yeah, no, I did not trust his ass from day one.
Gee whiz, you act like he wasn't trustworthy. Littlefinger was just so trustworthy.
Fuck no, I trusted Varys more than him.
Oh God, by a mile. Not even close.
Just by more of how he pretended like, I don't care about that. I don't care about Coin. I care for the goodness of the people. And then you go, I respect that. Okay. Okay. I didn't trust him until I heard him say that. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're cool in my book.
I always felt the dynamic between Varys and Littlefinger very interesting because they're very similar, but like, wow, they end up on different opposite ends of the spectrum.
So very much different.
Yeah. But yeah, one I think obviously like Daemon, I feel like is obviously set up to be the villain here.
The absolute bastard.
Yeah, he's awful, but he's not the worst Game of Thrones character by a mile. Like, not even close.
No, the guy, Castor. The guy who had the whole, from Game of Thrones season 3, I want to say. He's the guy who had all the women that he would just keep having babies with, and if they were boys, he'd sacrifice them to the water.
Yes, yeah.
And if they were daughters, he would later raise them,
marry them,
impregnate, and
yeah. That was
Castor was probably definitely one of the worst, and that's if not the one of them.
Yeah. Well, that was a minor character.
Sir Ilan Payne was also a piece of shit.
He was memorable.
He got what he deserved. Yeah, Ilan Payne got what he deserved, though.
Yeah.
He got his fucking eyes gouged out by Arya.
Yeah, it's the thing. Like, I'm watching this series. I'm not 100% sure who I'm 100% behind. I feel like, obviously, Daemon's set to be more the villain, and then...
as of now...
Yeah.
I want to be behind Rian.
Yeah, and she seems set up to be kind of more the good guy, but, like, there's so much shades of grays with both of them.
Stupid decisions.
Yeah.
I'm more leaning Daemon.
So
personally.
Okay, so
but we also know how it will end for her because it was told to us in the early episode of Game of Thrones.
I don't remember that, so don't tell me.
Okay.
I guess you could say it because they could vary it.
It's kind of crucial to my point, though.
Okay, go ahead because they might vary it up too.
It was an early episode right before Joffrey died. He was like just courting, I guess, Marjorie, and he was showing her around the old Targaryen tombs. And he pointed into that one, like, down there are the remains of Rhianna Targaryen. She was killed by her brother, her brother's dragon, in front of her own sons. So what's left of her is down there. So it's like,
Did he give a timeline, though? Because there's lots of repeating names in this, too.
No.
So, yeah. They could do that, or they could not. That is interesting. Yes, she does.
She has brothers and she has sons, but I don't know if that is the Targaryen. I don't have a full Targaryen, I guess, family tree.
Yeah.
But I did think it's funny that they did name that in episode 6 they did name one of their kids. Oh, his name is Joffrey.
Yeah.
I'm just like, curse name.
I guess
well,
now we've gone to Joffrey. I think we definitely need to talk about episode 5 because that's the one where God, why am I blanking on her name? You just said it. The main
I want to say it's Rihanna or Rihanna.
Rihanna. We'll go for
Rihanna. Yeah. Rihanna.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Maybe it's Rihanna. I don't know. Fuck. Main character.
It's like Rhaegal almost, but not yet. Yeah.
It's Fleetwood Mac Rihanna. Rihanna. But in that she's set up to marry Lord Corlys' oldest son to help cement that alliance because the father didn't do
High
that.
Valyrian,
Yeah.
But he fancies, or no, what is it? What is it they said in there? They both are not interested within each other, but they are doing this to please themselves while still retaining their own relationships because they both are in their own relationships.
Yeah, she's with that knight that she's liked for a while.
And
which actually, that relationship starts out fairly sweet, but oh my god. Oh my god.
And who was that other guy? Did they ever say who his lover was? Was he some sort of lord or something?
I don't remember what they said he was, but his name was Joffrey. Yeah.
His name was Joffrey, yes, that's right, yeah.
But yeah, so obviously his father was hoping he would grow out of it, and yeah, of course not. But it's like, it almost seems like it's up, so it's like, okay, well, I mean, they each have their own, like, obviously, the person's probably not thrilled being a side piece, but, they have their formal relationship, and then they have their, kind of more intimate relationship.
Public betrothed one.
Yeah. And it's like, well, that could work as long as they all understand where they're at,
And they also both weren't too thrilled to be cousins and married to each other.
Yeah, well, that's common then, too.
Yeah, that's part of that Targaryen bloodline.
Remember, Otto Hightower was trying to propose that she marry her half-brother.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, my God. But, yeah, at first it seems like this marriage might be fine, despite its obvious issues.
Yeah.
Until her lover decides to beat his lover to death.
During the ceremony.
Yeah. Mere hours before the wedding. A good old mild red wedding for you.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my god. Yeah, so she's Sir Christian, I believe, something like that. The knight she ends up with. She's had a flirtation with him for a while. And it definitely... Yeah. It felt like Daemon was trying to maybe get in a position to marry her because he takes her to a brothel and it starts seducing her.
Or an orgy hut.
Orgy hut. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure how to describe it. Yeah, we'll go with orgy hut. It didn't look like it was it didn't look like it was as nice as a brothel.
Or as controlled. It just seemed like a free.
Come here, fuck. Come here. But fortunately, he doesn't go through with it because I do feel like it's fucked up. Number one, because he's her uncle, but also like she's a teenage girl that hasn't ever had sex, so it's probably not hard to get her horned up. And dude, no, you're her uncle. Don't do that.
That's not right.
No,
but that literally drove her into the arms of her guard.
Yeah, and that's.
She enticed him in. She did.
She absolutely did, but they've had a flirtation throughout pretty much the whole series up to that point.
Yeah.
And it actually felt like, okay, well, it started out gross, but this is okay. I'm okay with this, where this ended up. But then he beats to death her lover right before her wedding. And it's like, okay, I don't like him. I don't...
Yeah, and I think now he's pretty much in the pocket of the queen.
Yeah, he's like her main guard, and she has another boyfriend now. And it's worth noting that she has the platinum blonde hair. Her husband, well, I'm not sure. Are the Corlys are the Valerians supposed to have platinum blonde, or is that just white? I can't tell for sure.
I think it's supposed to be platinum white.
Platinum, okay. But they both have platinum blonde hair, natural platinum blonde hair, which is a Game of Thrones thing, not a real life thing.
Yeah.
And all of their children have dark hair. Because that's a thing that genetically happens.
But, still, though, it's a natural born, just like Joffrey is Robert's son.
Yes. You can tell by his blonde hair.
I love it.
Right. No, I do enjoy how Game of Thrones loves to play with the hair colors when you see stuff like that, and you're like, oh, that's not how that works.
And these are my children. Yeah, right. I mean, hi.
Yeah.
So nice to meet you.
I think it's amazing. What are the odds that your children be the spitting image of your guard?
Yeah, and one thing I'm really enjoying about this is actually the politics of it.
Oh yeah,
like we're getting way more of those politics and getting to see more of them, and I'm actually really enjoying this kind of like a new chapter, or I guess like more lore to this world already.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do. Where was I going? I had something. Fuck my brain. But yes, I am thoroughly enjoying this series. Definitely want to see where it ends up. The time, so they switched out half the actors in episode 6. And I just want to point out how I think the new actors have stepped into the roles fairly seamlessly.
Yeah.
Like, they look different, and that's about it. I feel like they have the same character energy and all that. It's really well done. Because switching actors is always a danger, especially when you switch that much of your cast. And shit, It worked. Well done. I do believe at this point the father will survive the entire series, which takes place over 150 years. So it'll be impressive.
No, you see, he's going to actually be the old Targaryen who was at the Night's Watch. That's him.
Oh, God. Well, I swear every episode's like, he's got to bite at this one. Oh, he's got to bite at this one.
I just want to be clear. I know those are two separate Targaryens.
They are?
Yeah. I believe the one who was at
the
Night's Watch was Master Aemon.
Yes.
And the king is King Viserys.
Yes.
First.
I just can't resist it.
No, I know. I believe we did meet somebody already. King Aemon.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Lots of these names repeat. I don't know. We've met Aemon and Aegon, and these are all famous Targaryen names. Are these the famous versions? I don't know.
I don't know. They've already toasted to Aegon the Conqueror, so I think that the kid Aegon that we met. Oh yeah, and there's that Aegon Targaryen scene that happened.
Oh, and I just learned this not that long ago. The kid that plays the Aegon, the eldest son.
Yeah.
David Tennant's adopted son. So
Really?
another Doctor Who connection.
That is cool. Also, what is it with these Doctor Who guys and actors who have played the Doctor? We're mostly just Matt Smith and David Tennant. What is it about them being fucking villainous bad guys?
Yeah. Well, fuck, they're good at it. I guess not always. I mean,
whenever they're cast as a bad guy, they're fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
I will say.
Well, I think they're
Harry
in
Potter
general.
Tennant in Harry Potter was a bit of pop, but the role in the film was that itself, so it's passable.
I want to say when it comes to. I was just going to say when it comes to Matt Smith and David Tennant, I just love them in everything they do. I mean, they're great villains, but they're great heroes too. Like, I love David Tennant's turn in Good Omens as the demon trying to stop the end of the world.
And Matt Smith was also in one of the Terminator sequels.
Oh, yeah, he was in Genesis. I don't even know if he was physically there. I think he was a voice. I think he might have had... Yeah,
he was.
That's right. He did. It was like motion capture. Yeah, he was like Skynet or something like that.
Yeah, he was like but it was like looking like him. But he did some. I think it was like he. Spoiler alert for this movie: killed John Connor, or something like that. I think.
No. Wait, did he? No. Well, John Connor was the villain in that one.
That's right. He was.
That movie sucked.
That movie sucked. Yeah, Genesis sucked.
I mean, they threw so much to the wall, and it's like, well, I could see how this could work if they did a good job with it.
And then there's Salvation, the newest one, which
Well, no,
said,
the newest one was Dark Fate. Salvation.
That's right, Dark.
I was
Dark
kind of
Fate is
okay
still
with
when they-
Salvation because it's actually something different. It's not great,
What,
but
half
at least they're doing
half
something.
Man, like half T-1000. Yeah, that one was cool. I actually kind of liked that story.
Mhm.
You know, I liked it better than 3.
Yeah, 3 is kind of rough, but
But like this new one, I'll admit I stopped watching after they killed little baby John Connor. Not because they killed the kid, just most like this is fucking stupid. I can't.
You've been quiet for a bit, George, and I can tell you have something to chip in on Terminator.
Yeah,
So
I was just gonna say, it's like I thought, with the Terminator series, they would, which they did. They eventually did like a 360 back to the original movie once they figured out the time travel and everything. And I thought that they would end the series. We're like, oh no, we're on alternate tangents, and now it's like just. It was not good. I'm not.
Oh, it was not.
No, I'm
just done.
Every Terminator movie now is just an attempt to do a new sequel to Terminator 2.
I mean,
I'm so sick.
What they should just do is for the new Terminator movie, it should be like, that tin opening and everything. And then just the motorbike scene and like the overrun dam.
Yeah.
And then credits.
As far as other significant Matt Smith roles I think are worth bringing up, he was the main villain earlier this year in Morbius. And I will say he was the best part of that movie. Does not make it watchable. But, he had some fun. I will give him that.
Okay, so I did try and watch Morbius this week. I actually did try.
It's a chore. It was a chore sitting through that theater.
I think maybe 15 minutes in, I switched and started watching Dahmer instead.
Well, yeah.
Which is actually really fucking good.
Well, it's why people keep on saying, "Oh, Morbius isn't the worst thing ever," and why I keep on telling people is like, "Yeah, I know it's not the worst thing ever." That's the part of the problem. Everything in it is just completely fucking average. Just so like if it was worse, I would enjoy it more. Like quite literally.
Yeah, if it was a bad movie, I would enjoy it more.
Yeah, everything is kind of competent but not caring, and like everybody's giving a fine job, but not particularly good, not particularly bad. Just hitting that middle ground, and nobody clearly cares, and it's just dull. But yes, well, are we ready for Rogue One?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Something I can actually talk about.
Well, George, I'm going to have to mute you for this one. I think Bobby and I should. No.
Oh, sure. Whatever. That's fine. See how it is.
Well, I'll start with my initial thoughts real fast and just say, I think I enjoyed this movie more with this rewatch than I have before. And I always kind of enjoyed this one. But I think my biggest issue with this one has always been the handling of Saw Gerrera, because it just feels like he's set up as this like badass rebellion guy who's so badass that the rebellion won't even deal with him. And then the planet gets blown up and he just kind of decides, I'm going to chill here. Like, no attempt to do anything. Just chill here. It feels like there's something missing from his story that was cut. I would kind of like to know what that is. What are your guys' thoughts?
I'm going to have to agree with you on that. Like, I definitely feel they kind of established him to be something really great, but in the same breath, though, I also get the impression of when we later see him, like fully see him in the scene and not just like a flashback or anything like that, he does like emote a lot of exhaustion and tired, like he's been doing this fight forever. So like, that's why that scene seems a little bit more, I guess, a good fitting for him. Now, if we would have gotten to see him really earn that fitting, it would have been better. But and I agree with you too. Like, and I kind of in the same chapter with you. Like, I do agree that I liked this one a lot when it came out. I did enjoy this rewatch a bit more. However, I did think it maybe was like 45 minutes too
long. George, what are your overview thoughts?
I like this one quite a bit. I think of the Disney era of Star Wars, it might be up there as one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. It's interesting that it's, all purely based off of the opening crawl of A New Hope.
Yeah.
The rebel spies managed to steal the Death Star plans.
Mm-hmm.
Really very engaging, very exciting. Not a lot of bonding with the characters, though. I really like Jen, and I really like Queso, but pretty much like the other characters too, like Cassian. Like, I haven't really gotten into the TV show too much. It's just because I haven't really bonded with him yet. So maybe these TV shows will kind of give a richer background to some of these characters.
Yeah, I definitely feel like we're getting that with Cassian, because, even with the rewatch, he's one of the characters he might be bottom of the list for me as far as the major Rogue One characters, as far as the major group ones, because I think I like everyone else better than him.
Yeah, I like the droid a lot more than
him. Well, that shouldn't be a slight, though. Alan Tudyk's K2SO,
he
probably
was
my favorite character. Yeah.
He was voiced by Alan Tudyk. He should have been the movie.
But like it was cool to see all the returning characters, like, Vader, Bale and Mon Mothma, and, all those guys. That was cool to see.
Mm-hmm. But as far as favorite characters, not far behind K2SO would have to be Donnie Yen's character.
Yeah, Donnie Yen.
Yeah, Donnie Yen is so cool. Like, he's the one character that makes it so I can't say there isn't any force in this movie, because he's definitely got some force behind him. There's no way he does it. No way.
He's not a Jedi. He definitely practices the philosophy.
Yeah. I love the moment because he's blind. And I love the moment where they put a bag over his head and he's like, seriously, I'm blind.
I'm literally blind.
Yeah.
Really?
Now you're just going to make my face itch. Now you're just going to...
Yeah, I mean, he still probably could have whooped all their asses.
Yeah. One thing I really like about this movie, in fact, this might be the best aspect of this movie, is how, like, they take a lot of the iconic Star Wars imagery and make it feel a lot dirtier than we've seen it, a lot more lived in than we've seen it. Like, we're used to seeing, like, the glossy side of, like, the Empire and stuff like that. And this really feels like we're down in the dirt with the not even necessarily high-ranking rebels, just, the rebels really at the edge of it all,
at the foundation of all of it. The farthest outpost. Now, there is one thing that did kind of drive me a little nuts, and it still kind of drove me a little nuts when we first watched it. The first time that we see the Death Star blow up a planet, that little like ball that's on the top corner of it, that where the laser comes out of, it was on the bottom of the Death Star, and I remember watching it in theaters, kind of pointing at the screen like, wait a minute.
I think they're doing an alternate shot.
That's
like an underneath shot. Or above shot. Now, there was one that, I don't know if you guys noticed, but like they almost did like kind of like a Jaws thing with the Death Star kind of appearing out of...
Yes, I didn't think about that, but you are
and it was like,
what they're doing.
Guess who? What did you guys... think of the CGI on Tarkin?
Oh, yeah, it's worth bringing up.
Looked a little video game-ish.
Yes.
At times, I thought it looked really good, but at other times it looked kind kind of off.
I want to stress this is actually really good effects, but
it's very great effects. But like him moving with other characters, that to me looked very maybe like very high end top like cutscene.
The facial movements in particular always stand out to me. Like we get the younger Leia at the end of this, and when she's just standing there, it's like shit. That looks amazing. It's only when she says something where it's like,
I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah,
and I want to stress when they first introduced Tarkin. you see his back, and then you just see his reflection.
Right.
And I thought, like, why don't you just do the scene like that? Because that looks great. Just have it be that target.
Menacing as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be like, wow, that looks amazing. That's a great way to do it. Because they had a good voice actor doing it. And, yeah, I thought that worked out. And then he turns around and walks to a light. It's like, oof.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And
then there's some logistics things, like, in all of the other movies. I mean, not that, Star Wars, you don't have to, like, suspend your disbelief for a while, but anytime that there's, like, an open air to space, like, off of any ship, like, everything gets sucked out into space.
Yeah.
But when Vader's, like, standing on the, the open edge of the ship, oh, my cape's just blowing around, but there's nothing that's preventing me from being sucked into space.
Well, I assumed there was some sort of force field or something, but
it wasn't
I didn't
obvious.
think too much. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his cape's getting blown around from all the space wind.
Oh, the force. Yeah, the force,
there's
pretty much solves
force going on.
solves any kind of minor detail that's questionable in Star Wars, the force.
Yeah, I look cooler if I use the force to blow around my cape, so I will be doing this.
Right.
Let's see.
Well, I have a feeling that we'll probably be seeing Vader appear in a lot more since James Earl Jones retired from doing the voice, like actually recording dialogue. But he gave Disney the go-ahead to use all archival recorded footage and to manipulate any way.
And I want to stress it worked amazing in Obi-Wan.
I couldn't even tell.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell.
I just noticed he sounded younger, but I was like, oh, maybe they just put a different effect on him to make it sound a bit younger, because that really works. And it's like, no, that's probably just younger recorded him. Younger.
Nope. He did do a bit for the show, but mostly he's retired from doing it.
I mean, it's nice that he even came back and did a little bit, but
yeah, that was super cool of him.
Yeah. I'm interested to see, because,
Well, we know, Obi-Wan season 2, he's going to ask Obi-Wan the riddle of steel.
Let's talk about Crumb.
No, he's going to just, like, they're going to get mixed clips, and he's going to just start talking about baseball for no reason.
Peace, love, dope. Now get the fuck out. No,
probably one of my favorite lines in that movie.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
I think Darth Vader saying that would be amazing, by the way.
Yeah, that would be fucking great.
I don't even care if it fits the context of the scene. Just squeezed in there.
Just whoops.
But, I think I enjoyed this more than I have before. Rogue One's a solid movie. Despite all the production issues, like, there's all the stories of the nightmares. It came together fairly well. I think the Saw Gerrera thing was the only thing that stuck out to me as an obvious issue. He's just missing some sort of storyline or something, because he's just kind of there and then he's dead.
As far as, like, non-episodic movies, like, I feel like this one is one that could be watched in order. If you're doing, like, a marathon, it would work really well. Solo feels more like a tangent.
Well, I was trying to think, what were the non-episodic movies? Is it just this and Solo? I guess the Clone Wars, technically, but that's not Disney.
Yeah, it's tricky when you mix animated stuff in with live action. But Solo seems to be more like a different kind of tangent.
Mm-hmm.
And not really, like, this has a direct tie to episode 4, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to lie. Solo, I really wanted to see whatever the Lord and Miller version. I am still kind of a little bitter that they fired him and had Ron Howard redo the whole fucking movie.
It's fine. It's just kind of forgettable.
I know. Yeah. No, there's nothing, like, wrong with Solo. It's better than Morbius, at least on that level. But it's not a whole lot to it. No. Technically, I would say I actually consider it probably better than the prequels, but
I think I like the prequels better than Solo.
Yeah,
the prequels actually had something.
Maybe that's a hot take from me, but I do
maybe
like
in terms of direction and
yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking of. As far as story and plot, it's definitely the prequels. But as far as like just as far as execution,
there's nothing. I mean, visually the only things I really liked about it were the the tribe that he encounters had really cool costumes, I thought.
Yeah. I could get behind that.
But then it brings up stupid shit that they're never going to follow up on, like Darth Maul and,
Yeah, the Darth Maul thing was out of nowhere. I assumed they were saving Darth Maul for the Obi-Wan series, and instead they use him for fucking Solo. What the fuck?
Well, they want to tie it into, like, the Clone Wars and things like that. But I'm still kind of struggling to get into the animated shows.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know a lot of people like them, but I think for something Star Wars, it deserves like a better quality type animation.
Yeah,
so.
I have not. Yeah. I know to my understanding, the last few seasons of Clone Wars are supposed to be really good, but I know that movie was a bit rough. I sat through that movie.
Well, I did watch the last 4 episodes where it kind of runs concurrent with Revenge of the Sith, like kind of happens while like Order 66 and things are happening. And
oh, nice.
And it's like, oh, okay, so this is from their point of view from Order 66. Oh, and there's Darth Maul with mechanical legs, and there's a bunch of Mandalorians flying around. Okay, this is just fan service stuff. No, that's just my take on it.
Well, so. There's that probably was also meant to set up the Bad Batch series, which again I haven't seen it, but it's supposed to be the clone troopers that refused Order 66 and rebelled essentially. Which it sounds like an interesting premise, but
weren't they? Didn't they all get the same genetic code?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be anomalies and stuff. I would assume so. They're all supposed to be a little weird. Too. Yeah.
I think with George Lucas and the expanded universe, like he pretty much gave it a check mark as long as it didn't do specific things.
Mm-hmm.
So if he didn't think to say, well, all clones are the same, then like, oh yeah, we can. It's not in the contract. We can do whatever we want with the show as long as it doesn't say the specific things that George told us not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like with the expanded universe too, over time, like, they'll continue to retcon they've already done away with the old EU and, the old droids and Ewoks and the Ewok movies are no longer canon. And,
thank God.
If Disney wants to continue,
grimly, no.
If Disney continues this into the future, like they do with the Marvel stuff, they'll probably step on previous entries and like, oh, this is the new canon, and like this is now Legends, and even with their own creations, it's like,
yeah, there's no telling what will end up happening. I just hope they're good.
That means I should at least prepare myself for them to step on or completely retcon or erase Shadows of the Empire entirely.
Oh, that's already Legends.
Yeah, Shadows of the Empire is already gone.
So I think
one of the first things Disney did.
1 through 6.
Blasphemy.
1 through 6 will always be 1 through 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think those are set in stone, and not far behind is 1 through 3. Those are.
My canon, that took place as 1 through 6. So yeah, still took place within 5 and 6. So you won't.
But
in that lore, come on, there was a bounty hunter battle in space, like.
What, IG-88 and Boba Fett?
Yeah,
we're fighting over the carbonite block.
No.
Yeah, that's in Boba's ship. So I really didn't understand what blowing up his ship, how that would have helped IG-88.
If we're going to dive into Expand Universe, like I actually read the book for Shadows of the Empire, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. But part of that book is a character who's essentially the Han Solo stand-in, Dash Rendar. You play as him in the video game.
Yeah.
And at the end of the book, they're just flying away, and then boom, an asteroid hits them, and it's the end.
Mm-hmm.
Just how fucking lazy are you? Just
they blew the budget on most of the story, man.
Yeah.
They had to come up with a guy who could rival Darth Vader while only having a staff. What was it, like Prince Xanadu or something?
Yeah. Well,
and it's not his name. I know that. It's. Let me see if I can remember.
Prince Xandor or something like that.
Yeah.
The green guy.
Yeah, the green guy.
The green guy.
It's been a long
the green guy with the sumo ponytail.
Yes. It's been a while since I read it, but I'll always remember Dash Rendar's fate. Because it just felt like, oh no, he's gone. Let's never speak of our good friend again.
His ship is just not as cool as the Falcon, but just as cool as the Falcon.
Yeah. It's obviously not as cool, but it's 99% as cool. 99.
I'd pick the Renegade over the Falcon. That's just a personal choice. I gotta switch out a battery.
Oh, no problem. Well, is there anything we want to add to Rogue One before we go ahead and go into She-Hulk?
Do we know for a fact if I haven't watched any of the new show of the Andor yet, but do we know if Alan Tudyk is in it at all?
I dropped out of She-Hulk, but Brian's been watching it.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, we'll get into it because this set I'm not as thrilled with, but there are highlights in this set as well. But as far as Andor, here's what I'll tell you. Alan Tudyk is not in it yet as far as the first 3 episodes. But there is perhaps there is perhaps one of the cutest droids ever in that series already. Just holy shit.
In She-Hulk?
No, in Andor. Yes, in She-Hulk.
Oh, and sorry. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the red
Cassian's
one. Yeah.
Droid.
Oh
yeah,
my
he is
god,
cute.
Jesus.
Kind of like a puppy.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sad that you're leaving. I can't go with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not like K2SO, but it is like ridiculous. It's like, it's one of the best droids they've done
Disney,
in years.
you need to stop creating these cute droids.
Yeah. No, this might be one of the best droids outside of K2SO in the Disney canon, and yes, I'm even including BB-8. Yes.
Or that little dog that they made for the 3rd movie that didn't really get as popular as they hoped he would.
Oh yeah, that one. God, I forgot about that one. Well, the 3rd.
I still think the droid from the recent Star Wars game, the one with that kid from the Shameless, Fallen Order.
Oh, Fallen Order. Okay, I've only
played that.
I haven't finished the introduction mission of that yet.
Oh, so you haven't even gotten your droid yet? Oh,
no.
The sequel's coming out, man.
I know. I got it a while ago. It was like on sale for like $10. I was like, okay.
Good game. Like,
yeah, I've heard good things.
Yeah, it's a good, decent game. When you play it, don't go to the hellish planet first. Go to the other planets before. If you go to the hellish-looking planet, you will be stuck in the hellish-looking planet.
Is Mustafar the hellish planet?
No, it's not. But it looks a lot like Mustafar, and it is. But this one has like these lava-like monsters.
No,
actually, so that's why I call it the hellish-looking like planet.
Yeah, but all right, are we ready for She-Hulk? I think we are.
Yes.
All right. So here's what I'm gonna say. The first episode of this set started with the Wong episode, so we haven't seen Abomination in these middle 3, and they do feel kind of like filler. The 4th one was probably my favorite, because that's the one with Wong, and Madison is introduced, and she got all the great memes about her. Madison was kind of funny, just entertainingly dumb.
Yeah, Madison was great, and I kind of like that, Well, it's funny. When I first started watching that episode, right, and I saw that Juan was watching The Sopranos, I am a very big fan of it. So, at natural curiosity, when it showed a shot of the TV, I wonder what episode he's on.
Yeah.
And I saw which one it was, and I was like, oh, that's going to be a rough one, Juan.
Yeah. Well, don't worry.
I thought about it.
And then Madison just walks in. Oh, it's this one where
they kill Adriana, and he's just
what? No,
I know
Wong,
that pain
Wong is
because
awesome.
Yeah, Walt is awesome, and I do love that he has a bestie.
Mm-hmm. And I believe it's the fifth one where we have I believe the other lawyer's name is Pug, but he's the Avengers fan. He's looking for first
Iron Man
run
shoes.
Avengers stuff, and he just gets the bootleg stuff, and that's kind of fun.
Yeah,
but that episode 5 and 6 in particular felt kind of fillery. We deal 5. We deal with a suits stuff primarily. She wants a suit that will look about the same on her when she's in She-Hulk form and in Jennifer
and as
form.
Jessica.
Yeah,
or Jennifer. Yeah.
And I get that, and then we get that teaser for Daredevil, and I assumed that meant Daredevil would be episode 6, but he's not.
Nope, self-contained wedding episode.
Yep. Where Tahani, I don't remember the character's name here, but I was watching Good Place not that ago. So Tahani and Jennifer She-Hulk get into a fight at a wedding.
I keep forgetting that's her.
Yeah, no, she does look very different here. It's just the
also
makeup
playing
they
a
do
very
here. Yeah.
different character.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
Somewhat. Different.
Yeah, they're both very
similar
conceited,
character.
but in very different ways. But yeah, I wish I had more to say, because I overall still enjoy the series, but the last two were kind of I feel like I watched them and just no impact at all. Like I said, the fourth one was fun. Madison was a great addition to the MCU. I can't wait for the Madison and Wonger's spin-off movie. But I haven't gotten a clear answer if that happens before or after Morbius and Wong. So they need to answer that question before they release it.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm kind of assuming this is just set up, hopefully, for the last run of the series. Because we're coming up on the last 3. I would be shocked if we don't get more Abomination. Obviously, we haven't gotten any Daredevil yet. We just got the teaser where we saw his yellow helmet for a second, which is, that's fun, but you can't not give us Daredevil now.
Yeah, they have to, and I sincerely hope that they're not going to put him on as the last shot of the last episode of season 1.
Oh, that would be dirty. You can't do that and use him in your promotion for the series. That would be bad. He needs to be a major guest star in
that
one
shot
episode.
I'm talking about.
Yeah,
you know that shot.
The one shot that they literally made posters for this series with. No one.
But it's cool that they're giving Daredevil a different look.
Yeah, well, I actually get that.
And
Well, I believe at D23, which I believe was the last one, Charlie Cox essentially confirmed that this is a soft reboot where it's, it's not like the stuff before didn't happen, but, it's not really going to be referenced, which I get. Yeah, you want to kind of do your own thing, but, obviously you're just not going to dump the other stuff because that has fans too. And you also want to provide a little bit of wiggle room if you maybe want to recast a character or two. I did hear a rumor that Mike Coulter was saying that he doesn't think he's going to be available for Luke Cage anymore, which would be disappointing because he was a good one.
He was a good Luke Cage.
Yes. I was largely hoping pretty much everyone would come back. I'd even be fine with Finn Jones coming back because he is a good actor. Not given good scripts for Iron Fist, but if they want to recast him, I actually understand that as well. But yeah, we will have to see what they do.
Eldon Hudson comes back.
Okay, these are all rumors. Take them with a grain of salt. I did hear the rumor that apparently he's re-signed for Born Again.
Okay, cool.
But yeah,
good. Just because him and Charlie Cox had a really great chemistry. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they had a great chemistry, I felt, in that Daredevil series.
Because they've also announced that Elektra was recast, but was announced through but the source for the announcement was a Twitter site that is known for giving off false Marvel updates. So I take that with no salt, not even a grain of salt. Just no. Throw away. I do not care.
That is nonsense.
Yes. But yeah, I wish I had a bit more encouraging to say about this series, but I really don't. Other than, like, when it comes on Thursdays, I'm usually excited to check it out. And every episode has moments. But yeah, I did feel the last two were kind of like there. Nothing really stood out. They usually have good comedy, too. We haven't done anything with the Wrecking Crew after they introduced. I assumed we'd do more with the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, me too. I'd hope so, at least.
I thought there'd be kind of, maybe not a major plot, but at least like a B plot in a couple of episodes. That's the thing I've noticed. We've had mini storylines that last an episode or two, but then it's like done, and then we're moving on to other things. We aren't like following through with a lot of storylines, which I suppose maybe if they just want to go for the sitcom feel, I guess I get that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd like a bit more ongoing storylines. I feel like those and the tone they're going for aren't counterproductive at all.
Oh, no, not at all.
But yeah, I guess, do you have any big thoughts, Bobby, to add?
Yeah, I do agree. A lot of these are definitely filler episodes for the most part. Like the wedding one was, but I kind of also see it as like a continuing arc of episode 5 too. In a way, just because the same villain is there. So
Yeah.
I feel like we're definitely going to get maybe more introduced. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully they're going to bring in Daredevil soon.
Yeah. You know, and I'm not saying it's all about the guest stars, because
No.
I do think She-Hulk's interesting, but I also feel like they haven't been doing a whole lot interesting with her. Like, I thought the whole dating app thing was very interesting. It's just kind of fun and dumb, yeah. And I did like the callback to that in episode 5, where she's saying, well, because they were trying to say she's never used a She-Hulk name on her own. It's like, well, she did set up a dating app with the name She-Hulk.
Under the name. Went on a lot of dates.
Here's
so she had to...
embarrassing date she went on. And I'm not going to lie, when she went on there as She-Hulk, I was like, that's a mistake. You're going to regret that one. You're going to, unless you want to just be She-Hulk 24/7, don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say, like, overall, I still like the series, but the last two in particular, 4 was fine. Last two in particular didn't grab me as much as the previous 4, I would say. Outside the Avengers bootleg stuff, and I do like the official Avengers Twitter account completely reformatted, so they were the Avengers, Earth's toughest heroes, and the picture was them with all the wrong color scheme and stuff, the Purple Hulk and everything. I thought that was a nice touch. Like I said, even in the episodes I'm not super thrilled with, there are moments where I'm like, okay, I like that. That's funny.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not the worst thing ever at all. But yeah, the last two, nothing deep to say. So, anything we want to add, I guess, before we sign out?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. So, what do we have on the plate for next week? I do not have that up on my computer. That's going to slow me down. Oh my god. And well, it was me brain farting.
It was Andor?
Right. Yes, Andor 1 through 4.
Exorcist 3.
And Exorcist 3. And then another movie to be decided. A potential George pick. But if something happens, it'll be a me pick. You know what I mean?
Just don't pick Sleepwalkers.
Huh?
Just don't pick Sleepwalkers.
No, I actually have something in mind that should be fun. But we'll probably get to it some other time in October.
Terrible.
The one I have in mind is actually really good.
So if I can make it next week, have you guys seen Don't Be Afraid of the Dark with Katie Holmes?
I don't think so.
No, I have
It's a remake of like a 70s movie, but it's really good.
Okay.
All right.
I was legitimately creeped out by it. So.
Is that the one you're putting up as if you're here?
Maybe. I mean, if you guys have time to watch it this month, we can squeeze it in somewhere in October. But
okay. So maybe that movie, but we're definitely doing Extras 3 and we're definitely doing Andor 1 through 4. And then we have a movie to be decided. So stay tuned next week for the mystery Halloween movie. Get your freeze frame ready, guys. Here it goes. Have a good one.
Right.
They think order and chaos are somehow opposites and try to control what won't.
Do you enjoy pain?
Pain don't hurt.